force bands.
Yep.
It's very easy to do this with rap. That's why I wanted to stay away from rap. It's too easy. Every famous rapper was in a sort of troupe, group, camp, crew.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of a cool word.
Yeah, because even
I'm very white though.
I was going to do.
I'm painfully white.
I was going to do Wu-Tang for this because Wu-Tang originally was the three cousins. It was RZA, Jizza, and Old Dirty Bastard. They're all cousins, and they had a little group together, but it doesn't exist online.
Yeah,
the stuff just doesn't.
There's so many great bands we could have had on this, and people go, "Wouldn't you mention this?" I'll tell you what, say that, and then go look for it on Spotify.
Yeah, and also I'm going to be brutally honest with you. If you come back to these playlists in 6 months' time, a load of these songs could be gone.
Absolutely gone.
Yeah, you might have to just YouTube them.
They
take our word for it.
They didn't keep paying their fucking
royalty fees or whatever the fuck it is,
or keeping on for reasons of whatever.
Because a lot of these
legal shit, whatever. Yeah.
A lot of these songs are coming from compilations,
absolutely,
and tiny record labels, that aren't going to see any money.
Yeah, one thing that I did find out about this, because I was about to dump this off the list as an absolute no info on it at all, but she got her neighbourhood mate in to produce the early demos for her sister, and his name is Timothy Mosley.
Timbaland. All right.
Timbaland.
So he's been with her from the get-go.
Back in the early 90s, they were best mates.
That's deadly.
Jodeci had this little thing where they got all the artists from their label to work. I think they all lived together in New York. There was a gaff of about 20 of them, all writing stuff, and they were passing bits and bobs to each other. I think that crew was called the Swing Mob.
Right, because there was the Brand Nubian movement as well in... it would have been in New York as well, would have been happening at a similar time, which would have been very...
Yeah, basically they just were all writing a load of stuff together, hand off, go, listen, this isn't for me, you use this.
Yeah, Outkast would have been the same. They had that house in Atlanta where it was just...
The dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dirt floor.
Yeah. And Timbaland was obviously the one, like, doing his best to make all the beats and stuff like that. Another person in... that was someone called Magoo. Have you ever heard of Magoo?
Magoo rings a bell, but I couldn't pull it.
I only put it down there, and Playa. Didn't know them,
ring a bell.
But the other one that did ring a bell is Genuine, was with them.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah. So they're part of the Swing Mob. They're all helping write each other's stuff as well before they went on. Now, after the Swing Mob fucked off and they realised that we're just going to narrow this down to the people who are very good. And Jodeci were obviously incredibly big. But these guys went on to form a musical collective called the Super Friends, which is
wow, 4-star Iceman.
Super Friends. Yeah. I hate
Spider-Man.
that. I hate that way. So Missy Elliott and Timbaland, especially, sometimes Genuine as well, formed a writing and production group.
Okay.
So they were writing stuff for other people as well, like that. So the band's sister are like, they're not any better than stuff like early TLC or anything like
Salt and
that.
Pepper or something. Yeah, it's the same type
It's
of
very,
shit,
you know what? It's charming enough. Like it's. They're wearing the big jackets on the cover, and like they're sitting on stoops and stuff like that, and it's cool, man. It's really cool that they got that shit going.
Standard early hip hop stuff.
A bunch of like mates and stuff like that. Yeah, so that is literally where all of the info I could get off that. I could go into talking about how big Missy Elliott got and how big Timbaland and Genuine got.
Yeah, I think people know that.
One weird thing, I that song Genuine Pony, I love it. I love that song, but I got the lyrics wrong. I thought it was "You want it, let's do it." It's "I'm horny, let's do it." And someone goes, "No," I was singing it, and they were like, "That's not the lyrics." I was like,
"I like mine
better. You want it." I was singing like the fucking family friendly version, maybe.
Exactly.
Maybe I was singing the radio friendly.
Yeah.
Like,
you could have been.
It's I'm horny. Let's do it. I was like,
you could have been
stupid lyric.
You absolutely could have been getting the radio.
Just the radio with it, and I think I'll go back to that because I don't want any song that starts "I'm horny."
Yeah.
I'm horny. Let's move off, sister, because that's all I have. We all know the rest of this deal.
Yep.
Missy Elliott goes on to have a savage career. She's fucking brilliant. Who's your next one?
The Oily. Is it Oisley or Oily?
The Isley Brothers.
It's the Isley Brothers. It's whenever I see an S and an L together, I never.
This is the bit that's getting me. They're famous,
mad famous. Yeah.
So you're putting these on the list
as pre-fame. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So the Isley Brothers, 1954 until now, they're still going. I think originally there was 6 of them. There's just 2 left.
All brothers, though.
All brothers.
No way.
Yeah. The absolute horror stories of like how them boys died.
Oh,
is grim. Right, they're just picked off like car accidents,
like
cancer, everything. Right,
like the musical Kennedys.
There's 2 of them left. They started off as this weird kind of gospel doo-wop group, and eventually moved into this This would have been not necessarily pre-Motown because they weren't a Motown band until later. But they found a way of mixing their gospel and doo-wop into this kind of, what they'd call the Chitlin circuit kind of pop scene, right? 6 of them in total. I think there might have been 4 or 5 brothers at the start and one other guy. I can't
They were making new babies.
Yeah. So they're originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, and they moved to New York for a label. Now, in 1964, they meet this fella at a club. And meet this lad at a pub. A club. He was playing with another band who were just a nothing band. I think the band might have been called the King Casuals. I'm not sure. The history is very loose because nobody really tracked it properly. But this fella's name is Jimi Hendrix. So Jimi Hendrix joins...
Go away.
Go away.
Go away from me.
Yeah, he joins the Isley Brothers. Now, he's not with them for long.
Jimi Hendrix was in the Isley Brothers.
Yeah, he was in the Isley Brothers for a while. He had this weird on and off relationship with them. He'd done one big run with them where he was paid $30 a night, which apparently was a lot of money back then. Yeah. However, he kept getting fined.
Good gig, Jimmy.
He kept getting fined $5 per gig because he wouldn't stick to the uniform. The Isley Brothers had the very much suit, doo-wop-y kind of feel.
Where one guy slides out for a solo vocal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And because Jimmy...
And everyone screams, I love that. It's always the little fella, I love him.
But Jimmy had this... style, obviously, of guitar playing. He was shit hot back then even. He was kind of in demand, but nobody knew what to do with him because he was wearing all the Flower Power gear.
Right.
He had all the chains and the cuffs and the dangly fucking shorts and cravats and stuff. And he wanted to wear that gear.
Yeah.
So he was trying to do this amalgamation of the Isley Brothers... fucking their suits
and some hippie in the band.
Kind of, yeah.
Boy, he's a good guitarist.
Exactly, but that's how they got him in the end.
It is hard to, you know what? I'll say this about, and you probably know this as well. If you've ever been in a band with an amazing musician who dresses like he just came out of work,
oh yeah,
and you're desperately going, man, I swear to God, I'm in a rock band. I'm not trying to tell you how to market yourself.
Yeah.
But you're coming out dressed in like brown shoes and jeans,
and slacks, and an AC/DC t-shirt. And
you're deadly.
Yeah,
but it looks weird.
Yeah, you don't look like you're not.
You don't look like
you don't look like you don't care, man. You know what I mean? You have to look like you don't care to be in a band.
You look too much like you don't care.
Yeah,
you look like you are you're in rehearsals.
Yeah.
And this sounds weird, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't have a particular, I was about to say, I don't have a particular look for when I'm on stage, but anyone that knows me knows I actually kind of have to. But apart from that, if playing regular stuff, I'll just as dark as clothes as you can or whatever like that. But I've often been in bands where I just turn up and wearing like green and silver Asics runners, and I'm like,
lad, what are you at? What are you doing?
I don't have an idea of what this band should look like.
Yeah.
I just know that you're standing now like a sore fucking thumb. And I'd say everyone that's been in the band knows exactly what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
It's either...
Stop hurting.
It's either the bassist or the shit hot guitarist.
Yeah. The most... Generally the most talented lad in the band is the fucking maddest looking bastard.
Just the shit, yeah. And he's wearing just... old torn t-shirts.
Corduroys or something. Dungarees. What, lad?
You can't really say anything.
And it's always the fucker. It's always the lads that like... It's always the lads who like have to put the effort in. It's like, right, I've got the best hard case for my guitar, and I've got this pedal, that pedal, and my Planet Waves cables that cost 40 quid each or whatever. And the lad who's mad talented shows up with like a shit guitar in a black bag over his shoulder, just walks in, it's raining out, your guitar is dripping, I'll be grand. Goes over to the support by the other bands, like, listen, can we borrow a tuning pedal and a cable?
And
got any picks on you, have you? Can I get into that?
Yeah. And then string and E-string.
Yeah, exactly. And starts playing and fucking ruins everybody. With 2,000 euro worth of gear. Everybody has their fucking proper in-ear monitors now. This prick can only afford half a pint of fucking Stella Artois, and he's playing on the guitar his ma bought him for his 13th birthday, and he's murderous.
And he's wearing because he cycled in, he's wearing the Lycra things, but shorts over them. Red shorts over light blue Lycra. Mate.
And a pair of glow-in-the-dark Gola runners or something with the clickers on them for his bike. Yeah.
This person exists in most bands. I've been in.
That's how all bands start. Yeah. Everybody has a band like that. Everybody has a lad in a band like that. But anyway, he joins the Isley Brothers. Just Jimmy had been banging around as a session musician for a while. He was living in Nashville, and he kind of got someone said, listen, there's no money to be made for people like you in Nashville playing this type of music. You need to go to New York City. And this coincided with the Isley Brothers moving from Cincinnati to New York, chasing a record deal.
Yeah.
Eventually they ended up starting their own record label called T-Neck Records. So it was around this time Jimmy joins him. Jimmy records 3 songs. 2 of them are singles. One of them I think is an album track. He records a song called Testify, which is the song that you'll hear on this playlist. You'll see parts 1 and 2 because it's kind of a 2-parter. But the song is called Testify. He records a song called Move On Over and Let Me Dance. Both of those are singles. Both of those do not chart. They do nothing. So after a while, Jimmy's like, listen, 30 quid, and then I'm getting fined a £5 for wearing me jingle jangles.
Yeah.
Me purple trousers. It's not really worth it. He recorded another song called Have You Ever Been Disappointed, which I've never heard. I need to go looking for it.
That's a great name for a song.
Yeah, Have You Ever Been Disappointed? Around this time, he starts kind of jumping from band to band, and he ends up playing with Little Richard for a while. He plays with King Curtis.
So Little Richard's a fucking rough person to play
I'd say so, yeah. So he's kind of jumping from band to band. He's doing a few live gigs. He's doing a few bits and pieces. It's around this time where he starts leaving the Isley Brothers and playing with other bands that the whole concept behind the Jimi Hendrix Experience is born. He meets a guy in a record label who says, listen, I can give you a few quid to go into a studio and just bang out some songs for me, because it sounds like you can really, really fucking play. And it sounds like you've got great ideas for songs. So this is the birth of, after the Isley Brothers, I think within maybe 3 years of him flopping from band to band, he ends up doing fucking this thing. Like I said, 1963 he was in Nashville, and he ends up going to New York not long after this. About a year after being in Nashville, he goes to New York, meets the Isley Brothers, but he's recommended to them by some club promoter, I think, who heard him play. And apparently,
when they're trying to find new artists, and like, hang on, he's a session musician,
but you have
but
to remember,
he writes as well.
Yeah, you have to remember in the 60s, there's like a land grab for musicians.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody's after the next big thing.
Yeah.
And it all comes from word of mouth. There's no internet, there's no fax machines, there's nothing. You know, there's a shit telephone and there's word of mouth.
Yeah, and music is being bought, and just by
Music is just
the production has gone up so much.
Now, what kind of not fucks with it, but what's weird and kind of terrible at the same time is that I think within 6 months of Jimmy leaving the Isley Brothers, they signed to Motown and start doing well.
Yeah.
Just after he fucks off, you know. But yeah, there's a whole history. There's entire books have been written about the prehistory of the Jimi Hendrix Experience, just because he was such a journeyman.
Yeah, no, I knew he'd been in a couple of bands, but I didn't know any of them were like the Isley Brothers.
Yeah, Isley Brothers and Little
Summer
Richard.
Breeze, like.
Yeah.
So I negative covered that.
Yeah, exactly. So they would have been the 2 biggest that he messed with. Now, there was a bunch more of them that he kind of dipped in and out of. Are you having a glug, glug, glug? Get it. Oh.
That's the sound of bloody just beautifulness. So good. Did you hear the crackle?
That's all I can tell you, because there have been books written on this. The timeline is real.
You've obviously read all the books for this research, though.
I actually read a shitload about this. This one kind of hurt, to be honest with you, because you're putting timelines together for somebody who nobody was actually watching at the time. It's very difficult.
Of course, because otherwise they have to no one. They're doing interviews, which first of all, loads of them have been lost back then. But they're not really asking them, Jimmy, what did you do before this?
Who's this fella?
What did you do before this? They're going, what did you do now? So what you could do is you could read Jimi Hendrix's books.
I have read 2 Jimi Hendrix.
Did you watch the movie?
Biographies. Oh wait, your Mountcast.
Andre?
No, I couldn't do it. They filmed here in Dublin.
Did they film it here in Dublin?
They filmed it. It's in the Rage. There's a record store he goes into that's the Rage on Fair Street.
No way.
Yep.
The funny part about that film is they couldn't get the license for Jimi Hendrix's music. And although I will say this,
same with the Morrissey one.
I will say this: they weren't afraid to show that he was a violent bastard.
Oh yeah. Listen, it's the 60s. That doesn't excuse anything.
Doesn't excuse it at all.
But we talked a couple of weeks ago about Chuck Berry.
You know what? I was going to say,
honest to God, I was trying to explain this to somebody today. You could take that entire podcast that we talked about with like Chuck Berry and just being a scumbag and blah blah blah, and just replace the words Chuck Berry with Elvis Presley, and you won't be too far wrong.
Yeah, we are. Soon enough, we'll do a podcast that's actually about music and not how much of a cunt these people are. Fuck it, this is the way it works.
Yeah. Anyway, that was Jimi Hendrix with the Isley Brothers. Who's your next one?
My next one is a band called Green River. The song is Forever Means from the album Rehab Doll, 1988 Sub Pop.
Yeah.
So it's just before grunge.
Delicious Sub Pop.
Exploded.
Delicious Sub Pop.
Delicious Sub Pop who...
With their just nailing it.
What's their biggest album? Obviously Nirvana.
Bleach. Yeah,
where they
they took that money from Geffen and just like, let's be a real record label.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So this is sort of the proto grunge band, realistically. Well, maybe you could argue it's Mother